Hello, I'm Quỳnh. You are watching Vietnam Today. Let's check out the headline for this hour. Vietnam holds UN adaptation of High Sea Treaty. Vietnam provides free medical checkups in Cambodia. Central region targets more Muslim visitors. Vietnamese Ambassador Đặng Hoàng Giang has held the United Nations adoption of the Agreement on the Conservation and Sustainable Use of Marine Biological Diversity of Area Beyond National Jurisdictions, the High Sea Treaty.
The agreement under the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, was adopted at the Intergovernment Conference on Marine Biodiversity of Areas Beyond National Jurisdiction in New York on June 19th. Most of the UN member states have applauded and voted strong support for the adoption of the High Seas Treaty and also shown their intention to sign and ratify the deal soon so that it can take effect early and be implemented fully and effectively. Cuba, representing the group of developing countries, described the adoption as a success of multilateralism and developing countries thanks to their tireless efforts and strong solidarity. Addressing the conference, Ambassador Đặng Hoàng Giang, permanent representative of Vietnam to the UN, affirmed that the success reflects the conference's strong commitment and determination to achieve an instrument for conserving and sustainably using marine biodiversity of areas beyond national jurisdiction.
Vietnam always attaches importance to strengthening and expanding relations with Russia, considering it one of the top priorities in its foreign policy. National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ said during a reception in Hanoi for Chief Justice of Russia, Vyacheslav Lebedev.
Congratulating Lebedev and Chief Justice of the Supreme People's Court of Vietnam, Nguyễn Hòa Bình, on their successful talks, Mr. Vương Đình Huệ affirmed that the Vietnamese National Assembly supports comprehensive and extensive cooperation between the two nations' judicial sectors in general and the Supreme Court in particular. He believed that the outcomes of the talks will lead to significant and beneficial cooperation between the two sides in the near future. According to the top legislator, the 13th Party Central Committee issued a resolution on continuing to build and complete the socialist rule of law state of Vietnam in the new period, which includes various contents related to improving the effectiveness of the court system. In this process, the invaluable support, cooperation, and sharing of experience regarding law and justice from Russia and its Supreme Court in particular hold significant importance.
Vietnamese doctors and nurses from Charity Association in Ho Chi Minh City recently provide free medical examinations and medicines to nearly 800 Cambodian people in Sayang district in Cang Do province. Supported by Vietnamese and Cambodian volunteers, the effort was warmly welcomed and appreciated by local people. Following medical examinations and consultations, the Vietnamese team then distributed free medicines. These practical and humanitarian activities help address the high cost of medical service in Cambodia, which is relatively expensive compared to average incomes. The Vietnamese Embassy in Cambodia, in collaboration with charity organizations, agencies, and units from Vietnam, have sent many groups of doctors and nurses to Cambodia after the COVID-19 pandemic was successfully curbed. Central regions targets more Muslim visitors. Search volume for Vietnam's tourism ranked 7th worldwide. The total number of Muslims around the world now amounts to 1.8 billion, including 225 million in ASEAN countries. Muslim visitors are now seen as an important source of international tourists to Vietnam's central coastal localities amid a sluggish recovery in traditional markets.
The resumption of opening of direct flights between Da Nang and Singapore, Malaysia, India, and Qatar has created favorable conditions for central localities to cater to Muslim tourists. Though halal tourism has great potential, more effort is needed to tap this niche market, which encompasses Muslim-friendly food and drinks and visits to mosques and prayer rooms. This is the market we always want to exploit, and now we have had initial success. The Malaysian market has accounted for 4.4% of international visitors to Da Nang, and if you include the number of Singaporeans, the number of Muslim tourists account for nearly 10% of international visitors to Da Nang. Very few restaurants in Da Nang are able to meet stringent halal standards, while the Muslim community tends to choose destinations that have a halal ecosystem. That is, there are conditions available to conveniently practice their beliefs.
We need to improve if, let's say, we want to attract more Muslims to come to Da Nang or to Vietnam especially. The improvement will include to increase a number of halal food, a place for them to perform their prayers, which the Muslims need to perform their prayers at least 5 times a day.
According to the Global Islam Index report, Muslim tourism travel has reached 160 million visitors in 2019. After COVID-19, this number is growing strongly again, and it is forecasted to recover 80% in 2023. In order to effectively attract this potential market, tourism businesses believe that Da Nang and central regions need to promote flight routes, destinations, and support the formation of a service chain dedicated to Muslim tourists.
The search volume for Vietnam's tourism via Google Market Trends tracking tool grew 10 to 25% between mid-March and early June, ranking 7th in the world and indicating a strong demand recovery.
As reported by the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism, Vietnam was the only Southeast Asian nation listed in the top 10 destinations with the highest growth worldwide. Vietnamese localities that received the most searches in the period were Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi, Da Nang, Phu Quoc, Nha Trang, and Hoi An. The biggest sources of search about Vietnam's tourism include the US, Japan, Australia, India, the Republic of Korea, Singapore, the UK, Malaysia, Germany, and France. Also, according to Google's data, the number of searches has increased by 3 to 4 times compared to the same period last year, when Vietnam just reopened its tourism.
That's the end for today. Thanks for your watching and see you next time.